In the meantime, if I may ask you, like all three students are from accounting, like commerce background or some other background?
I'm from commerce background.
Okay, please others also help me.
Sir, even I'm from commerce background.
Okay, great, great. And I think one more participant left.
Sir, even I'm from commerce background.
Okay, okay, okay. So I think the class is still on in the for the other subject for the other course. I guess
Uh,
that's why it is taking time. Okay. So you guys decided to skip that and come here rather. That's what I should say, right? You thought that okay, this must be interesting accounting. Let's. I remember, Amir Khan from 3 Idiots. I can walk into any class I want whenever I want, right? That's the power of online sessions, I guess.
yes, sir.
Okay, let's just wait for a few minutes. It will take time because uh, people are joining from external IDs, so uh, it will also take time for me to allow them to join in. So just help me out in the meantime. I'll keep on interacting, but if I'm not online with what is visible on the PPT, maybe because I'm thinking something and doing something, right? So just help me there. Yeah. Let me admit everyone. Yeah, it's I don't know because it is an external ID. That's why it is taking longer. Just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. Suddenly everyone is walking in. In the meantime, I guess please do not use mobile phone. That's a humble request. That's also the requirement as you must have received a mail from our site because then what's the point of having an online remedial session when you are attending it from the mobile phone, right? It's like watching I don't know, some YouTube short or something like that, right? So it's not fun because you may not be able to see the PPT, you may not be that much involved in the discussion, and it doesn't serve the purpose because the idea is to bring everyone on the at the same level rather because some are from accounting, some are from non-accounting background. So I would request you to join from laptop, good laptop with decent maybe mic system and speaker system so that you can understand better. Right? Am I loud and clear? Good enough for 77 students, participants, maybe? Some
Yes, sir.
feedback.
Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So nice to hear. All. Yeah, nice, nice. It's been some time since I have taken the class, so it's really nice to see a lot of faces and a lot of noise in the classroom after some time. So okay, let me start the session because people would be keep on joining. But if my focus is here and there, that's because I'm allowing somebody. So please pardon me for that for some time. Yeah. Okay. Great. So I should start talking, I believe. Uh, yeah. So the rule for the class is quite simple. Join with the ID that is given to you. Join with the nomenclature that is given to you because otherwise it would be very difficult for me to give you attendance because I'm not going to manually do it, right? That doesn't make sense, right? I'm going to capture it through a Excel formula. So the email IDs or something has to match. That is the email ID that you are using should be the same that is there with the office, right? So please make sure that you are joining with that email ID because I would try to capture your attendance through the email ID, not your name mentioned, because that would create a lot of confusion, spelling mistakes, and this and that. Maybe by the somebody while joining you may have made, or maybe the office may have made. Fine. So that's what I wanted to say. So this is going to be the outline or the syllabus for this 7 session course maybe, right? And you can see the first unit focuses on maybe the basics of accounting. What is accounting? Why do we understand why do we need to learn accounting? Maybe what are we going to gain in an MBA program by going through this 7 hours plus 15 hours of regular course? That's the unit 1. Unit 2 is about extension of unit 1 that talks about the financial statements. excluding cash flow statement because that requires an extra time that we will cover in the term one course, that is financial accounting and reporting course. And then we'll spend some time on depreciation and amortization and maybe introduce accounting equation and some practicals on using accounting equation. That's the whole purpose of doing this entire exercise. Yeah, fine. Yeah, any questions for me before I move forward? Maybe any questions for me before I move forward? My name is Tejas Modi. Of course, you would have read in the file. I don't know whether you have received any file containing my name. I'm Tejas Modi. I'm going to teach this term zero to group one, and then I'm also going to teach, I think, in three sections. In term one, that is for FAR course, financial accounting and reporting. So some of you might see me today and also maybe repeating. So you would get to know today itself, maybe, or in the 7 hours only whether you like it or not for this term as well as term one. So that would be decided in the 7 hours only, I guess, right? So that's enough said. If no questions are there, can we continue? Just feedback would be nice. Thumbs up would do for me.
Yes, sir.
And I
Yes,
would
sir.
request you to maybe raise your hand or put something in the chat box rather than everyone going at the same time, because I'm human being. I cannot process a lot of information at the same time, lot of questions at the same time. I will allow you to talk, but the priority is based on hands being raised and through the chat box. I think that makes a lot of sense, right, for this online session. And anyways, you are used to all this, right? So that's it. I think I should start discussing the course. So before and whenever I'm teaching accounting for the first time to the students who have not studied accounting, the first thing I do is that come up with some examples just to make a point that why I'm important, what I'm doing is important, what I'm teaching is important. That's really important, right? You need to tell people why you are important, otherwise they'll not value you, they'll not value what you're doing in the classroom. So look at this example. Have you heard this about this movie called Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix? Maybe you must have, right? Your generation is into reading books, especially these fictional books and all that, right? Marvel fans, DC fans, right? Yeah, please also keep your cameras on. That's a humble request. Yeah, have you seen this movie? Please, some feedback would be nice in the chat box or maybe through thumbs up, something like that, right? Right? Hello? Yeah, yeah. So if I can share a story on this, because I always do that. This movie made $938 million worldwide. What do you think about it? Is it a good number or bad number? Is it a good sign or bad sign about the movie? This movie, particular movie, not the entire Harry Potter series, maybe. Yeah, in the chat box would also do. Yes, great number, right? So that's a good sign, right? Depends on the budget. I don't think the budget would be 900 million. That has never happened for a movie, I believe. That might be happening for the Avatar 2, 3, and 4 together, but that is also together. That has never happened for a movie as far as I know. Yeah, maybe for a TV series or something they may. Okay, depends on relative movies, but let's not ignore that. Let's not get into uh, other movies. Let's talk about this movie, particular movie. Are you happy with this movie or not? That's all. Right, if you adjust for inflation, that's quite an amount. What if I tell you that the movie had incurred a loss of 167 million, if I'm not wrong? Does that sound interesting or not? I don't know. Is this a good example to start the session? Tell me. Yeah, some feedback would be nice. Some happy faces would also be nice. At least I should get some human feedback. I'm human. I like appreciation. I like your response. Yeah, I'm. I have put up a broader window now so that I could see more uh, people. Right? Yeah, is right. How could this happen? Let us have a discussion. How could this happen? Movie has done 938 million, right? And the movie has incurred a loss. How is it possible? Like what's really interesting about this? Yes. Now you can raise your hand and discuss maybe. Budget, I don't think it would be 900 million, of course. Cost is okay. That's of course makes sense, but yeah, budget would never be right. Budget would never be yes, because the way the accounting works, the rules of accounting, the rules of the game, right? So you might feel that this company is doing better, this project is doing better, but lots of VFX again, but the way the accounting works is different because so the first learning that is there from this example is accounting is rule driven. Accounting is based on rules. So you might think X, Y, Z, but according to accounting, it might mean something else because it is rule driven. It's a science. It works on principles, pillars, right? So I can use another vague example. If I'm preparing a balance sheet of an Indian company as per the Indian rules, then I might get a profit. But if I may attempt to prepare using some other accounting rules, other country accounting rules, there may be a loss. I don't know because the rules of the game are different in different countries. The rules of accounting is different in different countries. I think the commerce students would agree with me, right? That the rules are different. They are called technically something. I don't want to get into that right now, but so what happened is that the answer is also there in the next slide. That what for this movie the production company and the distribution company were same. So what Warner Brothers did, they played a trick. They paid themselves in a way because they are the same company. Of course, two different subsidiaries, production company and distribution company. They paid themselves some money, and because of which they had incurred a loss. Isn't that interesting? That's how accounting works, right? So you might feel this is a good number, this is a positive sign about the movie, like 938 million, but in the books of accounting, right, it is in 167 million loss. Why do they do that? We don't, let us not get into that right now because we do not know the entire picture. It might be for, let us not say tax evasion, because if it is tax evasion, then the CEOs and CFOs would be in jail. So they must have used some tax planning, tax avoidance technique. The right word is tax avoidance technique, maybe. Make sense? Because tax evasion is illegal. You know that the word itself says something, right? Tax evasion is illegal. Means you are not paying taxes on your income, right? You have earned something and you are not paying taxes. So here, I don't think that has happened. Are you following, guys? Are you following? Say something. Come on, it's a morning 10 o'clock class. You must have had a nice coffee or tea. So please, some nice faces, happy faces, good feedback would be nice, right? Yeah. There is another example. The movie is Fahrenheit 9/11. The movie was made by Michael Moore. He is a wonderful movie maker. Some of you might have heard of him. He makes wonderful documentaries. So he made a documentary called Fahrenheit 9/11. Of course, the name itself suggests something. It must be on some topic which is very much talked about in America and also across the world. So what happened was that Michael Moore took or accused Harvey Weinstein. Now everyone knows Harvey Weinstein, at least right now. 5 6 years before, nobody would have heard of him, right? But right now everyone knows Harvey Weinstein. I think you know who is Harvey Weinstein, right? Hello, do you know Harvey Weinstein? Yes, right? Yeah, yeah. The entire Me Too movement started with that event, if you remember. So what he did, he took a private jet, and claimed the expenses of that jet for that movie. When you prepare the financial statements for that movie, and because of which, of course, the expenses would go up because you are claiming your personal expenses as a project cost. So the expense would go up, net profit would go down, right? And if the net profit goes down, the share of Michael Moore would also go down because the Michael Moore was supposed to get a profit share of the profit that the movie makes. So because of which he lost 2.7 million. So he accused that fellow. Right? You see, again, it's rule driven. Again, the second, again, I am talking about it's rule driven. Right? Let's look at an example of an Indian company. Right? There is a company called Camplast Sanmar. I'm moving windows because there are a lot of windows on my desktop. So company had increase in a decrease in sales of 2.9 percentage over previous year, but the net profit had gone up by 6.2 percentage. How is it possible? Can we discuss this? Let us discuss this. Is it possible that the sales have gone down but the profit has gone up? Can this happen? Yes. Okay, expenses have gone down. Okay, okay. But that's a very simple answer. Expenses have gone down, right? What else could be happening in the background? Okay.
It can be inflation.
But it's a 1 year data. So inflation wouldn't be that much, right? We are not in Zimbabwe, at least I could say, right? Are we in Zimbabwe? I don't know. We are not in Zimbabwe or Venezuela, maybe, right? You must read a lot about those countries because anything can happen to any country, anyone I mean, in this world, at least, right? When somebody tells you your generation no, nothing. You should say you have seen wars, you have seen 9/11, you have heard about you have heard about 2008 crisis. So you have seen lot more than those people have seen. So in fact, your generation has seen more than the others. Right? So when they say that you don't know anything about the world, you should say you know more than those people. Makes sense, right? Yeah, yeah, yes. So what could happen? I'm reading the chat box as well. Akshay, you are there. Akshay, you are there, but not your answer does not match. But that could be one of the reason, maybe. Right? I don't know. Okay, last year's inventory being sold. Okay, okay. Again, I'll reveal the answer. Let me reveal the answer. Again, it is rule driven, right? So they had changed the inventory valuation method. When you're changing the inventory valuation method, the expense would change. So the easy answer is expensive. Expenses must have gone down, but the expenses hasn't gone down. You have changed the accounting policy rather. You have changed the inventory policy for this, and then the picture changes. You see. Why am I discussing this example to you guys? Because that is your job. I'm not going to make you accountants, and my job is not to make you accountants. My job is to make you decision makers. This is what you could do so that the profit might look bigger, might look smaller, something like that. Make sense? Does it make sense? Are you getting what I'm trying to say with this all three examples? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right? Okay, okay, okay. Yes. So again, accounting is rule driven. I'm re-emphasizing them. I may not be discussing the rules in this 7 hours. I'll be discussing the rules in the first, second, and third session of the term one program. I mean, of this program, term one course. But yeah, I will maybe touch upon certain topics here and there. Another beautiful example happened in your time, right? Walmart took over some company, right, in India. Which company? Don't look at the PPT and tell me that's cheating, right? And we are very strict. At least when you come to the campus you get to know we are very strict about the policy, right, the rules. Yeah, yeah. Okay, they took over Flipkart. Very easy answer, right? So of course the numbers would not match up exactly because it's in billions, but they took 81% stake based on the valuation of 24.1 billion, right? So how this valuation is broken apart into like what assets they have taken up. So they took over 2.2 billion cash. They took over 2.8 billion worth of current assets. They took over trademarks, maybe worth of 5 billion. There are other expenses, fees and brokerage, whatever, the consultancy fees, whatever, 1 billion or something. Right? And the remaining amount is paid for something. What could it be? Can you mention that in the chat box? And if I would appreciate if you answer in private so that others don't see. What else it could be, right? I hope you understood the example. Did you understand the example? Privately, please, privately. Yeah. They paid 13 billion for goodwill. Now, what is goodwill? It's a very subjective matter. What is goodwill? So the answer is goodwill. They paid that for goodwill. So when I'm taking over a company and when I'm paying more than the fair market value of that company, that's called the extra amount that I pay is called goodwill. The extra amount that I pay is called goodwill. The reason for that is that otherwise the balance sheet would not match. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine that I always use stuff Imagine that this asset I'm purchasing from you. I'm purchasing two assets from you. 10 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees. So they individually they might be $10, $10 or something like that. But when I'm purchasing a business, the value cannot be $20 because when they are put together, they create more value for the business, isn't it? Let me use another example, right? I'm running a coffee shop business that is doing wonderful. I have coffee machines, furniture, fixture, etc. And I have spent, let's say, 10 lakh rupees. But if someone comes to my door and asks for purchasing my business, would I be selling this for 10 lakh rupees? Because when I put all these things together, the value is always going to be greater than 10 lakh rupees that I have spent on the entire coffee shop. Makes sense, right? So that when I'm paying more than the fair market value, that extra amount accountants don't know what to call it. So they came up with a brilliant name called goodwill. They came up with a brilliant word, goodwill. So in this business, when Walmart took over Flipkart, they paid 18 billion for intangible assets, including the trademarks and goodwill. Quite a number, right? Quite a number. And if you think about it, right now in the startup era, most of the valuation comes from intangible assets. And how do you value intangible assets? That's a very tricky question because when it is a physical asset, I know how to calculate the value of this, but how do you value intangible, something that you cannot see, you cannot touch? Making sense, right? And that's where your role would come as a finance manager. If you take finance courses, they will teach you in finance course that how do you value intangibles, etc. So this course would not teach you the entire world of finance and accounting, but this course would definitely bring you close to finance and bring you close to the, how do you do valuation, how do you do evaluate mergers and acquisitions, etc. So this will help you maybe pick up better courses in the future. Makes sense, right? Are you following? Are you enjoying the session? This up to this time, are you getting learning something new or not? Right? Because yeah. Okay, there are a few more examples, but I don't want to discuss them today. Otherwise, I want to keep surprises for tomorrow also. Right? So I'll discuss some of the examples tomorrow. Maybe let us just move forward. I'll definitely discuss this example and I'll share the PPT. So nothing to worry about. Right? Let me ask you after this questions, after this discussion, why you have why you are going to study accounting in an MBA program. Somebody might say, sir, I will have an accountant. Why do I need to teach accounting? I need to learn accounting, right? I want answers. I want your response. I want you to talk about it, right? Now, please interact. Let us make this interactive. I want you to talk. I want to hear you, right? Because I would be with you. So whether you like it or not, will be with me. Some of you would be there with me for 15 sessions, or I should say 3 months. So whether you like it or not, you are living with me, right? I'll be bothering you so much. Yes. Yeah. Interact. You interact with me. Raise your hand and talk with me. I cannot see all the chats, right? I'm not that fast. I'm getting older, so my eyes also takes time to process the information, right? To understand what you're typing, and then a lot of chats are there. Yeah. मेरे साथ बात कीजिए आपको समझ में आ रहा है ना आई गेस माई फ्लो इज करेक्ट माई इंग्लिश फ्लो इज फाइन like I'm not talking
Yes, sir.
because
Yes.
Yes,
usually
sir. Yes.
I get
Yes, sir.
feedback that I
Yes, sir.
talk in an alien language. Like, people don't understand what I'm saying. That is what I hear quite a lot. Yeah. Yes, बात कीजिए मेरे
It
साथ.
would help in making better decisions.
Okay.
Will help
Because
us to
accounts
analyze
is
them.
an important part of a business.
That's a very generic answer because it is important. That's why. Why you are attending my class? Because it is important. Because it is important. That's a very generic answer. Come on. I
So,
want
as
To
an
take
MBA,
financial
we'll have to
decisions.
evaluate or we'll have to understand the working or the financial situation of a business, right? So, that's why I guess it is important that we know how to read the financial statements and how to analyze them. And for that, we need to know accounting.
Okay, fine. I want to argue with you, but not right now. Maybe later. But because if I keep on arguing with everyone, I'll take up a lot of time, and the 7 hours would go like this, and I don't want that to happen. I want interaction from non-accounting students, not those who have not studied accounting. Please, this is for you guys specifically. I'm not saying it is not for accounting, but it is specifically for you, designed for you guys. It's structure, yes.
So
Sir,
to assess whether the decisions we are making would be profitable for the organization or not.
But that someone can tell you, right? You can hire an accountant from your class in itself, like somebody who knows accounting. Maybe you give them a job, you start a startup, and then hire them, so that they will do the job for you. Hire some accountant, right? So why do you
uh,
need to
We need
study?
to have our own understanding of the whole situation.
That means you want to know everything about the world. You want to know everything about. Why-
No, so maybe we can take external help as well, but to have our own understanding.
I know I'm arguing for accounting.
sir,
Yeah.
to be, to be able to
Specific
check
and
if my accountants are working properly.
Okay. But
yeah.
that's not your job. That's the job of an auditor, right? Som Shekhar has raised hand. Yes, please, Som Shekhar. If I'm reading your
My
name,
answer was the same as him. I feel like if it concerns money, managers should sort of understand to basic to advanced level what their accountants are doing, and make
but
sure.
auditor would do the job, right? Som Shekhar, do you agree with me? If you could start your camera, I would like to see you as well.
So my camera isn't working at the moment, but yeah, I will.
Fine.
It will be from tomorrow.
Sure.
And yeah, yes, I understand that it's the job of the auditor to do something like that.
Yes. More
But
interaction. Yes. Yes, good.
yeah,
More interaction. Please, more people talk. Please. I want everyone to participate in my class. I would expect the same in term one. I want my classes to be interactive. I want my classes where there is a lot of fun within the boundaries of the class. I'm a very angry. I'm like, you can say, very angry when I'm angry. So again, there are rules for the class, but otherwise, I'm a very easygoing guy. You will have a blast. That is what I have experienced over the years. Again, I'm not. It's sad that I'm talking about this, but fine. Yeah.
To do
yeah.
Hello, sir.
fundamental analysis.
Sorry.
To do fundamental analysis.
Oh, are you from accounting background?
No, I'm a BTech
What
student.
is fundamental analysis? That's a very heavy word. That's a jargon, right? I don't know what language you're talking, man.
Not
Sir,
jargon, but reading financial statements of the listed companies you want to invest in, or as an investment banker or stuff.
You added more jargons. Oh, come on. You want to confuse me in the first class itself, right? You
As
were saying,
managers, it's our job to increase the efficiency of the company, and that's not possible without evaluating the accounts of the company. So at least on some basic level, not to the level of actual accountants and auditors, but on some basic level. So that's why we have managerial accounting, I feel, because that's
okay.
some.
So, second, you will have to take a pause because if otherwise, I'll give you the class, entire class, right? Do you want to take
Oh,
the
sorry,
class?
sir. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm just kidding. Yes, please, others also interact. Yes,
Sir, to
Mr.
understand the inflow and outflow of money.
Okay. But again, accountant can look at the cash book and passbook and tell you easily, right?
So we'll be able to know whether the business is performing well or not.
How do you know business is performing well or not?
Yes, by reading the balance sheets.
Oh, balance sheet is again another jargon that I haven't talked about. But fine, everyone would know balance sheet, of course, because we are real people. We know what's happening in the world. So of course, even the non-commerce student would have heard balance sheet. That's why, in fact, they are scared sometimes. ये बैलेंस शीट आ गया, कहाँ से आ गया, क्या है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा. राइट साइड पे लिखा है, लेफ्ट साइड में लिखा है, सीधा है. काफी लोग टीमें बनाते हैं, काफी लोग वर्टिकल बनाते हैं. ये क्या हो रहा है दुनिया में, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. So sometimes engineers are scared because of that, because of the format and everything. I was working in IIM Ahmedabad as an academic associate some years back, and even the topmost engineers, like those who put 99%, they are struggling in accounting. I'm not scaring you, but I'm just saying that accounting is such that if you get it, you get it. If you are scared, then you get more in trouble, I guess, right? Yeah. So I think that let me give you the answer. There are a lot of surveys carried out, so I have collected information from various sources. So the first response when we ask this to the MBA student would be, tell me, what would be? I'm giving you a few seconds maybe to answer. Because it's a part of our curriculum, sir. That's why we are learning accounting. That's a very sad answer, but yeah, that's what it is, right? And then what you just said, right? I want to know accounting because that affects, if I'm working in the company, the balance sheet income statement published, when it is published, the stock price is reacting. That's why I want to understand, because I want my price to be appropriate. I want the stock price to be appropriate, isn't it? Make sense? Make sense, right? So it helps me some, and then you can always say, this will help me value the company, this will help me decide what to do about the business, this will help me take decisions maybe, right? And then the answer is that because it is the compliance, and because it is the compliance, I need to make sure that the financial statements are prepared as per the rule. That means I need to have a close eye on all my employees working under me, maybe CFO, etc. If I'm a CEO, then I know I need to know what CFO is doing, etc., etc. And in fact, in Harvard Business School, there is an oath, right, that I will report the performance and risk of my enterprise accurately and honestly. And for that, you need to understand accounting. So, are my answers good enough for you? Because I think this is coming from the student world only. So, I'm not saying this. Why you need to study? Because this is what is needed. Make sense? I think you would like the answer because it is a part of the curriculum. So let's live with it. Right? Right? Yeah. Okay. Fine. So again, if even if you are not making your career in finance and accounting, remember that you would have to learn accounting, you would have to know accounting, because you might be required to do some job where bit of accounting is required. Because I see even the placement manager in our college, the placement officer, the CRC office, or maybe a marketing guy also prepares a budget. And to make the budget, you need to understand the vocabulary of accounting. Make sense? So trust me, don't get scared, don't run away from it, otherwise it will be after you, accounting would be after you, the jargons would be after you. So enjoy this journey, this 7 hours plus the remaining term one hours, 15 hours, right? Right, right. So uh, let's talk about accounting more. See, we all are using accounting, we all are using accounting. You can ask me, sir, we are not using accounting. Aren't your parents making budgets and everything? That how much money we have received, this much, how much money we have spent. Isn't that what you are doing, maybe, or your parents are doing, or you are doing it because your parents are forcing you to do it? Maybe they give you 100 rupees and they ask you what you have done with this 100 bucks, or maybe 1,000 bucks, or maybe 10,000 bucks. Right? So for individuals, it is very easy. We do not use the word accounting, but trust me, you all are using accounting in some or the other way. Nowadays, there are apps in Android and Play Store, and I don't know, Apple's app market, right? There are apps do it for you. But what I'm saying is that you also do accounting. But because the number of transactions are small, it is very easy for you. The volume of transaction is very small, right? And there is no accountability. The only thing you have to do is that you have to file taxes on time. You have to file returns on time, right? So again, but you want to know how much you're spending so that you can plan better. Let's say you have received 20,000 salary, and let's say at the end of the month your saving account has gone negative or gone down, or maybe less than the first day of the month balance, right? Then you ask yourself, I have spent more than I have earned. Where have I spent it, right? So we all use accounting in some or the other way, right? We all use accounting, but because the number of transactions are so less and the accountability is not there, right? Only few laws we are supposed to follow. That's why it's easy for us to ignore it. But for a business, every penny is accountable, right? Because you are using public's money, right? If you are raising money from public, for every penny you are responsible, you are accountable. Also, there are a lot of laws, income tax, GST, partnership act, all that. So there is a compliance also. In case of business, there are a lot of transactions, and that's how accounting becomes difficult. Because when there are thousands, millions, billions of transactions, you need to have a system. Otherwise, you don't know how much you're making, how much you're losing, because there are billions of transactions, right? So that's why accounting seems difficult for the students, because of the number of volume of transactions that the business have, and they have to be recorded, right? I'm not going to teach you this course from the viewpoint of individual accounting, individuals accounting, individual balance sheet or income statement. So, right? So we are going to learn this course from the viewpoint of business, from the business perspective. That is what I wanted to say. Now, what's accounting? I'll give another example. Let's say I want to buy a car. The cost of the car is, let's say, 10 lakh rupees. I'll take a loan of 8 lakh rupees. I'll put 2 lakh from my pocket. Right? I can do that, or I can buy a car on my own. Deciding to buy the car is not an accounting decision. That's a financing decision. That's an investment decision. That's a different decision altogether. That's not accounting. But when I'm purchasing the car, right, and I'm paying, let's say, because this is for myself, I'm talking about individual. I am purchasing a car of 10 lakh rupees where I'm getting a loan of 8 lakh rupees. So the 8 lakh is reflecting in my books. I'm recording it somewhere, and I'm also paying a check of, let's say, 2 lakh rupees, and I'm recording that in the folio. That's accounting. So the accounting is recording the transaction. Accounting in pure generic language, accounting means recording the transaction. Of course, the role of accountant has gone up a bit, but that's accounting. When you are recording the transactions somewhere, is called accounting. That's accounting. Making sense? Are you following? Are you following? Some thumbs up would be nice, right? Yeah, yeah, right. So let's look at another example, maybe. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Yes. So let's say you have. Let me admit somebody because he's waiting. Okay. Yeah. Uh, okay. With the mother's contribution of 9,000 and bank loan of 20,000, you purchase pedal sewing machine for 21,000 and material worth of 8,000. During the May June, you were able to sell finished goods amounting to 16,000. You purchased raw material, you paid interest, you sold some garments, etc. So now this is what has happened in your business or whatever activity you have done. So how accounting helps you, tells you that whether what you did was profitable, whether your efforts. Can you hear me, guys? Because okay, okay, lot of thumbs ups are still appearing, that's why. Can you hear me? I hope there is no bug in the app. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, from this entire story, right, you can know what has happened in May and June, whether you were profitable or not, like what you have to do so that you can increase your sales. So accounting provides you information about the business so that you can take decisions for the future. That's the accounting. That's the role of accounting, right? Because accounting tells you what has happened so far. So sometimes I say accountants are historians. They tell you what has happened. Make sense? They tell you what has happened. Accountants, they tell you what has happened. If I am going to, let's say, purchase a car for my business, that's not accounting because that hasn't happened yet. But if I'm buying a car, then it appears in the balance sheet, then it's accounting, right? So accountants are also called historians because they tell you what, accounting tells you what has happened, right? It cannot tell you what is going to happen. That's where finance comes into play. Now this is a typical business organizational structure. I need to discuss this one slide for few seconds so that I could go ahead and maybe raise good questions, right? So this is how the corporate's organizational structure typically looks like. Someone has a question, please ask me, beta. What's your name? MBA 0778, please. Please ask question, beta. Please participant. Are you there? So in the
Yes, sir.
online session, the first thing you should ask is, are you there? If you are there, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please ask. Yeah. Okay. Are you there, MBA 0?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please ask me, beta. You have a question?
No, sir. I didn't have question.
Okay, your hand is up. You'll get tired, beta. Please put it down. Yeah. So very sad, very silly jokes, I know, but that's what I am. You have to live with it for at least 7 hours minimum. Yeah. So this is how it looks like. You have shareholders, and below the shareholders, you have board of directors, and there are auditors, and there is audit committee. Below the board of directors, there is a CEO hired for the company, and below CEO, there is company secretary, vice president, or sometimes also called chief marketing officer, chief financial officer, CFO, COO, and sometimes you also have a vice president for HR. Under finance and accounting vice president, you have a controller and treasurer. So controller's job is like accountant, right? What he does is that I'll just use some tool. I have a pen as well. I can use the pen also, right? I'm using the that tablet. Yeah, yeah. So there is a controller also, right? There is a controller also. So what is the role of a controller? Controller has to make sure that the financial statements are prepared as per the rules of accounting. They are also supposed to make sure that the taxes are filed on time. The financial statements are prepared as per the rule, and it represents the true story about the business. So that's the job of a controller. The treasurer's job is based on what controller has done, has to plan for the future. This is what you will study mostly in finance courses, and controller's part you will study in accounting courses, because that's how it is, right? Now, why am I discussing this slide? Because you need to know as a business person, student, right, that how the corporations are structured. Yeah, businesses are also called cash dispensing machine because they receive cash from various sources. They save, sometimes they save, and from that they receive cash. Sometimes they sell other than the products, they sell assets sometimes, so they receive cash, and then they are spending cash. So their business organizations are also called cash dispensing machine because they receive cash and they take cash, like just like ATM, right? Yeah. So let us understand why accounting matters. I hope you are able to follow the flow of the class. Like it's not going haywire, correct? Because I have really worked hard to keep this flow. Please share the previous slide. I'll share the. You want to share right now? Me to share right now, or you want to me to share later through email or something? Mr. Prakash Raj. We have actor also in our panel. Yes, Mr. Prakash Raj.
Sir, the moment when you shared about being a controller and being a treasurer, I
Oh
would
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
the
You
same
want me to
slide.
show again? You want me to
Yes, yes,
present again? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Just a
Yeah,
second.
ask question, please, please, please ask question. You want to ask question, please?
Sir, I would like to go through the same thing that you have mentioned over here, controller and treasurer. That
Huh.
means the men who have learned CMS, completed CMA or CA, some kind of accounting course, the professionals would
Hmm.
be actively involved in the the preparation part, like the financial statements and the budgets, and right.
Of course,
And
yes.
here, being we as an MBA, like we will be planning what will happen next, how we will be able to make a well-informed decision
You are
regarding the
absolutely
capital
right.
gain.
But now, Prakash, can I say Prakash ji or I should say Prakash Raj ji? I don't
Which
know.
one is convenient to use?
Okay. So what really happens, Prakash, is that when you are now, because nowadays people are expected to know more than what they have done in their graduation, and of course, right? So even the CAs are working in corporations at different positions. So now that you cannot say that this fellow would do that job, accountant would do that, because accountants are also
Okay.
expected to do much more than what they used to do. So I cannot say you are that is what is happening in the world. By definition, that is what should happen, but that doesn't happen in reality
Alright.
because people are doing much more than they. So CAs sometimes they are practicing. If they are practicing, then their job is left side. But if they are hired in the company and not practicing, then their job may be more than controller. Make sense?
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
So that's how it is, right? Okay. So as you have mentioned that it's fine, the flow is fine. Let's understand why accounting is important, right? So whether you are working in Infosys, maybe or a small company like Mahan Foods, or any small company for say a startup, maybe whether it is a profit-making business or not for profit-making business, whether you're a manufacturer, retailer, maybe reseller, maybe, or maybe, right, doesn't matter, right? No matter where you are working, you are supposed to take the decision, right? So you may be a CEO or you may be just a small I mean supervisor maybe, but still you take decisions because some powers are always given to you. So sometimes the owners are taking decisions, or sometimes the managers at different levels are taking decisions, and they take decisions when they are required to take decisions. All of them take decisions. How can you take decisions? You can take decisions from the information that is given to you. You can take decisions from the information that is given to you, right? And why accounting is important? Because accounting is also giving you information, financial information. Because I'll use one example, right? Let's say you are selling three products. Let's say the third product is not doing so well, right? So that you got to know only from accounting, because someone is recording all the transaction and then the other fellow has distributed the financial statements product wise, maybe that's managerial accounting, and from that they came to know that the third product is not selling enough, in fact we are losing money in the third product, and then I take the decision, okay, based on this information we should not sell the third product because that is losing money. What I am saying is that when you are running the business you are required to take decision, and when you are required to take decision you require information, and one of the information comes from accountant, one of the information comes from financial accounting, and that's why financial accounting is important. Please shoot questions if you have any. Please shoot questions. Did you follow what I why I'm we are learning accounting? Because accounting is giving you information about the business. Accounting provides you information about the business. Why you require information about the business? So that you can judge the business. You can judge the business. You can take decisions. Let me use an example, right? You want to invest in Infosys. Why do you want to invest in Infosys? Because Infosys is doing well, right? How do you know Infosys is doing well? Because Infosys has booked profit of maybe some XYZ amount, right? Where does that profit comes from? Financial accounting. Makes sense, right? Let's say Ola has decided to lay off employees. Why? Because they're incurring losses. Why they have suddenly decided to lay off employees? Because their car business is not doing well, and they have invested so much money in their electric scooters. They cannot operate with this much salaries of employees. They had to lay off. Why are you taking that decision? Because that information comes from financial accounting. Am I making sense with these examples? Accounting is important, right? Because whether you like it or not, accountants tell you what to do, maybe in the what to do in the future, right? You may be manipulating the financial accounting numbers for your need, but at the end of the day, financial accounting provides you raw information about your business, and that's how you can take decisions. That may help you take decisions. Correct? Sure. Following?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Let me use an example maybe to explain better, right? Am I going too slow or too fast? I'm so sorry. Because I'm not in the physical class, I have to ask you this. Am I going fast, slow, boring, good enough for class? Maybe, whatever. Okay. Thank you. So let's say there is a company called Gujarat Motor Vehicle. Right? The purpose is to sell new and old cars, also providing repair and other services. The CEO of the company, chairman of the company is Piyush Patel. I don't know. I did not want to use the real surname. Maybe employees are 263. They own showrooms, service shops, storerooms for parts and accessories and office space. They have 140 new cars and 240 old cars, used cars. And they have bank balance, inventory, spare parts, accessories, supplies, tool, oil, etc. And the company has been receiving good feedback from its customer since last 5 years. Now there is a lot of information, but not all information is accounting information. So what we are going to do now, out of this all information, we'll classify the information into accounting information and non-accounting information. So first, what we do is that based on the entire picture of the last slide, some information is non-quantitative information, such as let's say your customers are satisfied. That's a non-quant number because that's not something you can record in the books. Can you record in the books? Sir, you are a bad teacher. Can you record it somewhere? Can you record it in the balance sheet of Nirma University? No, right? So, so that cannot be uh, a part of financial accounting because it's a non-quantitative information. Even in quantitative information, not all information is there in the accounting books of accounting, right? So, I'll give an example. Let's say in Nirma University, there are more than 600 employees. Right? The average age of faculty is close to 40. The average age of all the staff member is, let's say, 45. That's a quantitative information, but can you really record that in the books of accounts? No, because it does not have a value in terms of rupees, right? Their salaries maybe, but this information is also there in the MIS system of Nirma University, right? So business would have lot of information. Out of that, some information is qualitative, some information is quantitative. In quantitative also there is some accounting information, there is non-accounting information. Accounting information can further be classified into operating information, financial accounting information, management accounting information, and tax accounting information. Our course focuses on this. Our course focuses on this. What is operating information? Let's say the number of batteries we have in the warehouse. When should we make the order for the batteries or maybe some spare part we require, right? What should be the size of the maybe uh, 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 what the place where we are repairing, maybe station, maybe where we are repairing the cars and everything, right? What should be the size of accountant's room? Maybe this is all operating information but not accounting information, right? What is tax accounting? Tax accounting is entirely based on tax rules. So let's not get into that. I'm not going to discuss that. There is a course, I think, elective course in third term on personal financial personal taxation. There you can learn tax accounting. But again, I'm not going to discuss tax accounting in my course. So what is financial accounting and management accounting? Financial accounting includes all that information that is provided, published for internal and external stakeholders. What is that? Again, very fancy definition, right? Or fancy way of saying it, right? All the information that you are supposed to give it to your internal and external stakeholders, that's a part of financial accounting information. Let me give an example. I'm sitting in a room. I'm using my personal laptop. I have tables, chairs, right? So all these, can I say all these resources are of Nirmal University? So how much resources business has, that's a part of financial accounting. uh, Let me use an example, right? Let's say I'm setting up a coffee shop. I have invested 10 lakh rupees in all the assets, right? So the question is, what all these assets are? So you may have furnitures, you may have maybe coffee machine, right? You may have maybe uh, those fancy gadgets, maybe, right? Right. So all these are resources. On the other hand, if you have put 10 lakh, how you have put 10 lakh rupees, whether you have put from your pocket or you have taken a loan. So let's say you have taken a loan of 8 lakh rupees, and you have put 2 lakh from your pocket. So this is coming from your business. This information comes from a business. So these are all this right hand side is called resources, and this left hand side is called from where it is funded. This is called what we own, and this is called how it is. Who is the owner of the resources, right? So that's what accounting is. Because when you are running the business, you have assets, you have resources, and the next question is how those assets are financed, how those resources are financed, and that comes from accounting. Okay, can I go ahead? What is management accounting? Right? From in management accounting, these assets and this loan, right? I will play with numbers in such a way that they can help me take decisions. So when I'm preparing a balance sheet or income statement, let's say HUL may be selling thousands of products, but the balance sheet will not say that how much assets are invested for this X product, how much assets or investments are made for Y product. That is where management can manipulate, right? They can prepare the maybe balance sheet and income statement for individual assets so that they can decide which product is not profitable. That is where managerial accounting or management accounting comes into play. So they manipulate the financial accounting numbers in such a way so that they analyze the information in such a way that they can take decisions. That's management accounting. I hope this is not too boring, because uh, it's a lot of information I may have given, but I hope it was not too boring. Are you following? Yeah. Okay. We have only 4 minutes, and I want to end the class with this. Please help me. Accounting is also called the language of business. Why? Accounting is also called the language of business. Why? Interaction, please.
So maybe because, as you mentioned, that accountants are called as the historians, and they keep a track what the information, what has happened. So maybe because of that.
Okay, good answer. Anyone else? Especially anyone, rather anyone maybe.
So,
Yeah.
sir, as you have mentioned, accounting is about recording the transaction. And in business, there are numbers of transactions, as you have mentioned, that there might be billions of transactions. So, in order to understand that transaction, accounting is a way. That's why we can call it as accounting is a language of business. Being a business manager or a controller or a decision maker, you must understand the language of business, and accounting is one such. There are other languages too, but accounting is, I think, the root of to understand any transaction.
So let me use an example. Let's say I'm an Indian, you are in maybe China, for say China. Let me not say China because otherwise you will say anti-national. I don't know. uh, let's say you are from which country? I should. Sri Lanka is in turmoil right now. I don't want to say Sri Lanka also. Maybe Bangladesh. Let's say you right. So let's say we are meeting somewhere. You don't know much English, you know a bit of English, but when I say profit, let's say my business is making profit, then you can chat, then we can discuss. Why? Because if he knows the meaning of profit, then we can have a discussion for long hours. We can go for a coffee maybe, right? What I'm trying to say is that when everyone knows the language, because everyone is expected to know the language of business. Once you know the language of the business, you understand the business better. Let me put it another way, right? There are a lot of words which may have a different meaning in real life but has a different meaning in accounting, right? So let me use the word. I think because I have put the entire windows with your faces, I cannot see what's there in the PPT, but I think the purchase example and net worth example would be visible, right? So meaning of net worth in real life would be different, and the meaning of net worth would be different in accounting or business, right? When I say net worth means what is the claim of the owners in the business. That's net worth in business, but the meaning of net worth is different in real life, in our life, right? In individuals life. So that's why accounting is different. Let me use another example, purchase example. When I use the term purchase would have, for us, purchase means I went for a shopping, I purchased from DMart, maybe I purchased from Pantaloons or somewhere. That's purchase for us. In business, not everything is purchase, right? So if business is purchasing, let's say let's say it's a computer business and they have purchased ACs. It's a computer reselling business, so they have purchased AC, right? That's not purchase. But if they have purchased computers for reselling, that's purchase. We'll discuss this in detail later, right? Because the business is of purchasing and selling, reselling computers, that's purchase for them. If they're purchasing AC, right, that's an asset. So in accounting language, we cannot use the word purchase there. So that's how accounting is different. So just like any other uh, subject, you need to understand the roots, principles. Here also, you need to understand the language of business. In fact, why do you need to learn accounting? Because the business is using accounting as a language, and to understand finance, also you need to know accounting because the finance is using accounting language, right? Right. So that's why accounting matters. So this is where I would like to, maybe it's 11 o'clock, so you might have another class. I hope it was not too boring. You can give me the feedback. Otherwise, I can prepare accordingly for the next class, maybe, right? Because I do not know what kind of students I have. Everywhere we have different batch of students. So, yeah. Okay. Did you follow what I was saying? Did you enjoy the class, maybe?
Yes. So
Okay. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, if you have any doubts or something, you can obviously let me know. My email ID is tejas.modi@nirmauni.ac.in. Any question, anything? If you cannot ask me something in the classroom, maybe because you are scared or maybe you are nervous or something, you don't want to raise it. So, you can ask me personally. But yeah, that's what. So, thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll meet tomorrow, I think, at yeah, more jokes. Okay, so some of you may like jokes and some of you may not like jokes. I'll keep it funny. I'll try to keep it funny, but don't assume me as somebody who is funny all the time, right? But yeah, I'll maybe using funny examples tomorrow. Fine, sure. Thank you so much once again. Have a great day. We'll meet soon. Thank you so much. Yeah, bye bye. I'll end this session in a second. Bye. We'll meet tomorrow
Thank
at 2 p.m. I think have you received the communication?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll
Can we
meet
have
tomorrow.
this PPT?
Yeah, so
you.
that is what I'm wondering with other section faculties also, because PPT would be same for all the. So we may create a Google Drive and share it with you guys. But the problem is you do not have a Nirma ID. So we are figuring out what to do. But I'll try to share it with you as soon as I could. Good enough?
Sir, could
Yes,
you
sir.
please repeat your email ID?
Tejas dot